Mother's Day is right around the corner, and I'm ashamed to tell you guys this was me last year. Standing in line, getting ready to fight some poor sap for some bouquet of flowers and a generic card. Mama deserves better than that. So this year, I'm going to make up for that, and I'm going to make her some string art. The reason why I'm choosing string art is I think it's unique. I think it packs a heck of a punch, and I guarantee it is nothing she has ever seen before. I'm going to show you how you can knock this out in an afternoon, depending on what wood treatment you use. And I'm going to show you my all-time favorite hack. And the best part is, it is completely free. It's really going to help you knock these string art projects out a little bit easier, a little bit faster, and they're going to have a more professional look. So come along, let me show you what I'm talking about. The first thing we need to do is download Easel by Inventables. So you can come to their website. You can either start a free trial or log in. I already have mine registered, so I'm just going to log in. Once logged in, you will be met with a workspace that looks just like this. The first thing we need to do is come over here to the right side. We're going to change this size. We're just going to make this bigger so that when we import our file, it will look better. So it'll always ask you here to enable tiling. I always just click no. You don't need to do that. So now we've got our workspace set up. Now is the time where we can bring in our SVG, our clip art, our font, whatever we want to use to make this string art. Come up here to project, import SVG. I already have mine ready to go, so I'm going to go with something like this. I'm going to shrink this up just so it fits a little bit better in my workspace. So you'll just take a couple minutes here, manipulate it how you want, get it how you want, shrink it, resize it, rotate it, get it how you want, and then come up back here to the project dimensions. I'm going to shrink mine to 11 inches here on the Y. I think that should be plenty enough space. Yep, something like that. Again, it'll ask you to tile every time. I don't know why. So make sure this is centered. Make sure you like it. I like this. I like the way this looks. So this is what I'm going to go with right now. The next thing we need to do is come over here to bit on the right side. You're going to click that. You're going to add a 1/16 of an inch bit. If you don't have one already loaded in, you can just come down here to other and add the parameters. This might come preloaded. It looks like it does because it's by Inventables. Don't worry that it says fishtail spiral. We're not actually using this bit. That won't affect anything. So click that. Click off and make sure that it stayed right there on 1/16 of an inch, and it did. Once you got everything looking just how you want it, you're going to highlight everything. You're going to come over here on the left side to apps. You're going to scroll down quite a ways till you hit holes on a path. You're going to click that. It's going to bring up this window here. I always change the hole diameter back to 1/16 of an inch. The depth, we want to be 1/4 of an inch because that's how deep we want the pilot holes to be. For the spacing, this is where you can enter your own parameters. I think something like this. This is what three. No, this isn't 3/8. Yeah, 3/8. No, the 3/16. That's way too close together. You're never going to be able to get those nails in there. It's going to be hard to get the string around the nail. So I usually pretty much double mine to about 3.35, maybe 0.4, whatever you like. Don't worry about this number of holes. Don't worry about use drill points, and just click import. So now we can see that those holes have been imported. For some reason on some of the clip art, it will offset like it did here on the hearts. That doesn't really affect my design, so I'm not real concerned about that. What I'll do then is I'll go through my actual design. I'll highlight each piece and delete it, and just make sure that my main shape stays, and this does. You can see that clearly looks like a heart. Go through and delete those. So now is where a little bit of the trickiness comes in. You have to zoom in, something like this, and now you can see here on the A it missed all the holes on this side. I don't know why I did that. But you can also see inside of this hole right here, you're not going to be left with these crisp corners at all. So you can just click these pilot holes and drag them to where you want them. And then if you need another one, you can just Control C, Control V, and it'll pop up another one. And then now we have good spacing here on this A, and we're going to get a crisp inside corner, which is what we want. So if you look down here as well, we don't have a pilot hole here or here. So I'll do that same thing. I'll just drag one that's nearby. I'll space these out a little bit better. Maybe bring that one there. So you will have to go in and do some of this type of file manipulation if you're doing letters like this where you want nice crisp corners. So then you'll just have to get the file how you want it. You'll have to add a bunch of these for this left side. But you'll go through and you'll just check everything. You know, case in point here on the Y, we do want a crisp corner right here. So we'll drag that one to there. And then down here you can see there's not one here. So your string and your nails would just kind of loop around this corner. You're not going to have a 90 degree or 90-ish degree corner. So you drag these around, get these over to here, something like that. And same thing here. We want to drag those, get those covered up, and then, you know, we want to add one here. So just take a few minutes, and you'll have to get in there and just kind of manipulate your file a little bit. Get it to how you want it, and then you'll just zoom in and delete all of your original imported file, and you'll be left with all your nail holes that look something like that. Once you got everything looking good and just how you want it, all those nail holes are spaced out so you get those crisp corners. I would take more time with this if this was going to be my actual file, but I actually already manipulated the file. You'll highlight everything. Come back over here to apps on the left side. You're going to scroll down a little bit further to convert circles to drill holes. It'll ask you, do you want to replace existing? We do. You'll hit import. And now you can see all of those holes now are bullseyes. That indicates that these are just going to be drill points. So there's not going to be any sort of reaming of the hole. Doesn't matter if it's inside cut, outside cut, or a pocket. It's just going to plunge down, drill a hole, and come back out. And we can see that happen over here on the left side. I'll simulate this for you. And we can see that all it's doing is going in there. It's peck drilling down, coming back up, and moving on to the next hole. So now it doesn't actually matter what size bit you have in there. It's just going to drill these holes for you. The nails that we're going to use are just slightly smaller than a 1/16 of an inch. So we should be able to set the nails in these pilot holes so they're sitting perpendicular, and then just maybe one hammer hit and it'll set that into that virgin wood, and we should be all set. One thing else we want to do is, we can see the time down here, 2 hours 47 minutes. That's just way too long. So we can come up to cut settings, click manual. I usually double this or go a little bit more even. So I'll go 75. And then we know we want to be 1/4 of an inch. So I'll just have it do 1/4 inch per pass, meaning it'll just peck down, move on, and then that hole will be finished. Otherwise, it'll have to do the same pattern multiple times. So then you can click off, hit simulate. There you go, 47 minutes. That's much better. So once everything is good, how you want it, you'll just come up here to project, download G-code, and you'll save it wherever your project happens to be. Upload that thumb drive and watch the CNC do its thing. So the bit we're going to use here is a 1/16 inch end mill. And what's great about this is that this is just barely larger than the OD of our nails. So the nail will just slide in there without any kind of a pressure. And then all we got to do is hit it with the hammer once, and it'll set it down about 1/4 inch into that virgin wood. And that'll make sure those nails stay perfect. One thing to note is that when we're setting up our file, we want to make sure we're using a drilling function and not a hole or a pocket function, because this bit is so fragile that if this has to do anything other really than just plunge down and come back up, you have a really high possibility of breaking that. There we go. We got all of our pilot holes around there ready for the frame, so we are good to go. So right now I just have this frame dry fitted on here. It is not attached to this at all. I put a little bit of glue in there and just some finish nails, and I've got this clamped up. So now I can just pop this center part out, which is my actual string art. Then I can treat this frame however I want. I want to sand down these corners, and I want to put a light gray stain on that. And that way I don't have to worry about the stain bleeding onto this board at all or doing anything like that. Here's the frame. I got the gray wash on there. I think it's going to look really good with that whitewash background and then the colors of the string. I think they're really going to stand out, especially with those black nails. So I'm just going to give this a minute or two to dry, and then I'm going to wipe it clean with a cloth, and we should be good to go for this frame. Once the string is done, I can actually attach the frame to the board, and we should have a really nice looking string art project. 24 hours have passed. You can see that whitewash looks really good. It just takes a little bit of harshness out of those knots and then just makes this look just a little bit more subdued. Now you can really see the Happy Mother's Day script with the hearts. And then I just have a hammer and the nails. These nails are awesome. They're 1 inch long. They are round head. So they're a little bit decorative, more than like your standard panel nail. And now with these being pre-drilled, I can just set the nails in there, hit them with the hammer, and they should set perfectly perpendicular to the surface. And that's exactly what we want. Because I'm a nice guy, I'm not going to make you watch me pound all these nails in, but I am going to keep an eye on the clock just so I can give you a rough estimate of how long it takes to pound these nails in. Shouldn't take too long with these being pre-drilled. These nails are 1 inch long. They're pre-drilled 1/4 inch. I want to go in maybe about another 1/4 inch. I want my final nail height to be 1/2 inch. So it should only take maybe 1 tap with the hammer. I'm about 30 minutes in, and I would say I'm about halfway finished. So I would say about an hour to finish this. What is happening is exactly what I had hoped. I'm setting the nails in there and then 1 hammer hit, and they are setting in there perfectly. And they're roughly about 1/2 inch high, which is what I was shooting for. So I'm just going to power through, and I'll show you guys the results when I'm finished. So there you have it. You are looking at 550 nails, and that took me just under an hour. I think it was exactly 58 minutes to pound all of these in. So the next step is to actually put the string on here. So I'm just going to choose the colors I want and kind of work out a pattern beforehand just to make sure I have enough of all the colors. But this is going to look awesome. I'm really excited, and I know she's going to love it. The stringing is complete. I think it looks absolutely great. This step took me about 2 hours to complete, and I probably could have shaved some of that time off, but I actually restrung a couple of these letters in one of the hearts. I just wasn't liking the way the pattern was looking, and that's the beauty of these, is they are infinitely forgivable. If you don't like the way the pattern looks, you can take the string off and just start over. If you want to change colors, if you want more of the background to show through, you can do less passes with the string. If you want the colors to be more filled in, you can do more passes. So the customization of these things is absolutely awesome. The next step is to put the frame on, and that would pretty much complete this whole thing. I'm going to put some piano wire on the back just to make it hangable. I don't know if she's going to hang this or put this on a shelf, But I'm going to get that frame up here and show you how I'm just going to easily attach that, and then we will be pretty much all set. I want these nails to be, I'd say, about a 1/4 inch below the finished surface of this frame, so it's kind of stepped back just a little bit. So I'm going to find some 1/8 inch or even some 1/4 inch material, put that on the workbench first, so that when I set this face down on there and I put the frame on it, it'll be already spaced exactly how I want it. So I've got some protective paper down here. I've got a couple pieces of this 1/8 inch Luan material here. Just gonna set that there, and then that'll give me the spacing I need. So I just need to flip my finished product over. We wanna be careful. We took a lot of time and effort. Take the frame. There we go, it's that easy. Now I'm just gonna add the pocket screws, and then I'll get some piano wire to put on the back, and we will be all set. There we go. You can get this done in an afternoon, and I think it packs a heck of a wallop. I love the gray frame, the whitewash, and of course the colors. And these are infinitely customizable. I'll put a picture up here where I did an Easter one a couple of weeks back. That one turned out pretty awesome as well. I've done other ones. I've done Halloween, I've done Christmas, so they're really awesome to do. And with the help of the CNC and that awesome hack that I showed you, that takes all the hard work out of it. Then you just got to spend a little bit of time doing some of the elbow grease work yourself, and you can end up with an awesome looking project like this. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, drop a comment. That'll help this video and my channel grow, and I would really appreciate that. So until next time, take it easy.